Bring you a story on Larry Nassar. The FBI failed to properly investigate sex abuse allegations against Nassar, the former doctor for USA Gymnastics and Michigan State University. That's according to a new report by the Justice Department's Inspector General, who also determined that FBI officials gave misleading or false answers when confronted about those failures. I want to bring in Sarah Klein. She is a victim's advocate. She's also an attorney, and she also is one of those victims from Larry Nassar. Sarah, thank you so much for being with us on the show today. This is a very, very interesting report that just came out. I want to know what your thoughts are.
Today feels like a massive and devastating violation yet again. What we learned today is that multiple federal agents covered up Nassar's abuse and his child molestation, and over 120 other girls were then abused after the FBI already knew. The most painful part about this is that the Department of Justice has declined, as of today, to hold these bad actors accountable, and no one is being criminally charged. And it was our hope that when we finally got our hands on this report, that it was going to give us some level of accountability, and that is not what we got. We got another punch to the gut, and we got the message loud and clear that we don't matter, that survivors at large don't matter, and that lying and corruption within federal law enforcement and federal agencies is okay. And that's going to go unpunished. And child rape really isn't that big of a deal. That's what we learned today.
Sarah, you know, it's tough to look in the past and say woulda, coulda, shoulda. I know a lot of these victims are trying to move forward and be advocates for each other, but do you think if the FBI would have taken these allegations more seriously, there could have been less women that were affected by Nassar?
We know for a fact over 120 little girls were abused after the FBI knew and failed to report to, Nassar's employers in Michigan, right? So we know for a fact the answer to that question is yes. And we know for a fact that those bad actors will be collecting their pensions and living their lives and not sitting in a jail cell where they actually belong and where you and I would be sitting if we had done the same thing.
I mean, you yourself have moved on so well. You're a public speaker, speaking about what you went through, helping other women who have gone through similar things. Is this a step backwards, or what do you think this means for all of his victims?
It's a huge step backwards. It means that the rape of a child matters zero, and that federal law enforcement can lie, can conceal, can sweep things under the rug, can fail in every single duty that they are charged with upholding, and nothing will happen to them. This is devastating. And listen, my heart goes out to the 120 girls and their families who were essentially raped after federal law enforcement, the FBI, knew about this and did nothing about it. My heart is with those families, with my sister survivors tonight and going forward, because they're going to have to live with this for the rest of their lives, knowing that they were failed in this enormous way and that nobody is being held to account.
Sarah, let's talk about charges, though. Nassar is serving an effective life sentence that includes a 60-year term for federal child pornography crimes and a sentence of 40 to 175 years for assaulting 9 girls and women out in Michigan. Is that enough for Nassar with knowing all of this?
He's sitting behind bars the rest of his life. I can sleep easy knowing that that man will never harm another child and will never have access to another child. So he's getting what he deserved. Let me put it this way. The abuse was enough, right? All of us being abused, for me being abused for 17 years, that was enough. Today, I'm being abused by the people that were supposed to protect us, the FBI, the Department of Justice. If they're not protecting children, who is?
What's your message, I guess, to women after having learned all of this, that they mishandled these allegations? What do you say to a girl out there who maybe is going through something similar and was wary about coming forward, and now hearing this is even more wary?
Please still come forward. Your voice matters. Your life matters. Please still speak up. There are those of us that get up every single day and fight this fight, and we will stand behind you. And we are strong, and we are not going anywhere. And, you know, we're looking to the United States Senate as to what is going to happen next. And so for anybody thinking about coming forward, we are here, we are strong, and a couple steps back, but we are going to continue this path and truly not stop until there is some justice served.
And what's your call on the FBI moving forward?
You know, I don't have anything nice to say, and so I'm not going to say anything at all right now, but the FBI, above all else, should be protecting the citizens of this country and protecting the children in this country. And listen, I'm sure the majority of those agents do a wonderful job every single day. I've worked with them on some of my other cases, and they are wonderful people. But in this scenario, these bad actors need to be criminally held to account.
Is there anything, I know you're a part of a lot of victim advocacy groups. Is there anything that you're planning moving forward in the future with this case?
You know, Senators Moran and Blumenthal in Washington looked us in the eyes and said, we are not going to be yet another set of adults who fail you. And every step of the way, they have upheld that promise. And they both put out statements. They did a joint press conference today saying that this isn't over. And I believe them and trust them when they say they will not fail us. And so I now look to them, and to your viewing audience, stay tuned. This story is not yet over.
All right, Sarah Klein here for us on Live Now from Fox. We appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your story, because so many women out there have the same.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're going to move forward here on Live Now from Fox, take a 2-minute break right there. We're also following some news out of Los Angeles, different mishandling, but that's of a conservatorship with Britney Spears, the latest on what her battle has been and what we can be looking forward to in the future when it comes to her new attorney. That's in 2 minutes.